People thought fame looked beautiful. And sometimes, from far away, it did. The flashing cameras, luxury cars, and fans screaming your name like you mattered more than ordinary people, it was, truly, a captivating sight. But nobody ever showed what happened after the cameras disappeared, and nobody talked about the loneliness, or fear, or the strange feeling of being surrounded by attention, while trusting almost nobody. That was the part of fame Rylan Hart hated most, the emptiness, the isolation, and the constant scrutiny. And tonight, he was about to hate it even more. Rain covered the city streets, as black cars lined the entrance of the theater. Bright lights reflected against the wet pavement. Fans crowded behind barriers. Reporters shouted questions endlessly. And standing beneath all of it, perfectly dressed, and painfully composed, was Rylan Hart, 24, the city's newest acting sensation. He wore a dark, tailored suit, and his soft, brown hair was styled perfectly, his amber eyes trained into a celebrity smile he had practiced for years. The cameras adored him, and, honestly, Rylan had learned how to survive by giving people exactly what they wanted, a smile, a wave, charm, even when he felt exhausted. His latest film premiere had become one of the biggest entertainment events of the season, which meant more reporters, more photographers, more pretending. "Rylan, look this way," someone shouted. "Rylan, over here," another voice called out. "Who are you dating right now?" He smiled politely, answered carefully, and moved gracefully, and secretly, he counted the minutes until he could leave. Then, his phone vibrated, and Rylan glanced down casually. At first, he expected another congratulatory message. Instead, his smile disappeared, as he saw the words, "Unknown number," and only one sentence. "You shine too brightly, and that is a heavy burden to bear. Be careful tonight, for the world is watching." His chest tightened, and for a moment, he felt a sense of unease, remembering the pressures of his life. The screaming crowd around him suddenly felt louder, colder, and uncomfortable. It was, truly, overwhelming. His manager noticed immediately, and she whispered, "Mood change," she muttered beside him, her voice low and concerned. Rylan quickly locked his phone, and said, "Nothing," but she didn't look convinced, she knew him too well. But cameras still surrounded them, so the smile returned, and he put on a brave face, because that was what celebrities did, they smiled first, and panicked later. 2 hours later, the premiere finally ended. Rylan sat inside his car, watching rain slide across the windows, and his driver navigated slowly through city traffic. The excitement had faded, and only exhaustion remained, but unfortunately, so did the message. He opened his phone again, read it twice, and it was, still, unsettling, still strange. Then another notification appeared, "Unknown number." His stomach tightened, as he read the words, "You ignored my warning." Rylan sat upright immediately, and the car suddenly felt smaller. "How much longer?" he asked quietly. 10 minutes, the driver replied. Rylan looked outside, at the dark streets, the rain, and the traffic lights glowing softly, and for the first time that night, he felt watched. By morning, His management team had already overreacted, or at least, that was what Rylan told himself. Inside a luxury office overlooking the city skyline, tension filled the room, and his manager, Claire, looked furious. "You received threats twice," she said. "Texts," Rylan corrected, "threatening texts, but they could be from a bored fan." Claire crossed her arms, and said, "You have nearly 5 million followers." Rylan replied, with a hint of sarcasm, "Congratulations to me." She ignored him, and continued, "We're increasing security." Rylan sighed immediately, and said, "Claire," but she cut him off, "No debate." He leaned back in his chair, and said, "I'm not walking around with bodyguards." Claire's response was firm, "You are now." His jaw tightened, as he said, "No." Claire looked completely unmoved, and said, "He starts today." Rylan blinked, and asked, "He?" The office door opened, and suddenly, the room felt quieter. The man who entered looked nothing like celebrity staff, tall, in a black suit, with dark hair, and sharp gray eyes, and an unsettling kind of confidence. He looked composed, dangerously composed. Claire stood, and said, "Rylan, this is Noah Reed." Noah nodded once, professionally, and unreadably, "Mr. Hart." Rylan stared at him, then looked at Claire, and said, "No." Claire sighed, and said, "You haven't even spoken to him." Rylan replied, "I don't need to." Noah remained silent, which somehow annoyed Rylan more. "I'm not babysitting a bodyguard," Rylan said, and Noah finally spoke. "I'm not here to babysit you," he replied, and Rylan looked back at him, and for reasons he couldn't explain, that irritated him immediately. The meeting lasted 12 uncomfortable minutes, and Rylan disliked almost all of them. Noah stayed calm, too calm, as he reviewed schedules, exit routes, travel plans, and security procedures, all while speaking in the same annoyingly steady voice. Meanwhile, Rylan became increasingly irritated, and he asked, "So, you'll be following me everywhere?" "Yes," Noah replied, and Rylan said, "That sounds exhausting." "It's my job," Noah said, and Rylan crossed his arms, saying, "I value privacy." Noah met his gaze, and said, "So do people sending threats?" The room became quiet, and Rylan hated that answer, mostly because it made sense. Claire stood, and said, "You two will work together until this situation is resolved," and then, very intentionally, she left, leaving them alone. Rylan sighed, and said, "You know, I already don't like this arrangement." Noah waited, and then said, "You don't have to like it." Rylan stared, and asked, "You always this charming?" A faint expression crossed Noah's face, almost a smile, almost, and he said, "I'm here to keep you safe," and something about his voice felt strangely serious, not dramatic, not performative, just honest, and somehow, that unsettled Rylan more than sarcasm would have. Unfortunately, he was a man who took his work very seriously. Noah was serious about his job, and, it seemed, painfully serious. By the afternoon, he had already inspected Rylan's apartment building, adjusted transport schedules, reviewed event security, and annoyed Rylan continuously. You really check windows? Rylan asked, incredulous. Yes, Noah replied, matter-of-factly. That's ridiculous, Rylan said, shaking his head. It's procedure, Noah explained, unfazed. You inspect restaurants too? Rylan asked, raising an eyebrow. Yes, Noah said, again. Rylan groaned dramatically, you're ruining luxury for me. Noah looked over calmly, and said, good. Rylan stared, you enjoy irritating me. Noah's response was, you assume everything is about you. Rylan almost laughed, but then said, you definitely enjoy irritating me. And for the first time, he was, perhaps, letting his guard down. Noah actually smiled, small, brief, gone too quickly, but it existed. And, unexpectedly, Rylan noticed. By evening, Rylan had a magazine interview downtown, and rain had returned, casting a mystical spell over the city. The city glowed beautifully beneath wet lights, a breathtaking sight, truly. Noah rode beside him silently, professional, and alert, which made Rylan increasingly curious about this enigmatic figure. You don't talk much, Rylan said, breaking the silence. I talk when necessary, Noah replied, his voice low and even. That sounds lonely, Rylan observed, and Noah looked out the window, lost in thought, it seemed. I work better quiet, he said, his gaze still fixed on the outside world. Rylan studied him briefly, and there was something unusual about Noah, not cold, just careful, like someone used to watching life from a distance. Before Rylan could speak again, Noah suddenly sat forward, his eyes locked on something outside. Stop here, he said, his voice firm. The driver blinked, taken aback. What? Noah's voice sharpened. Now. The car stopped, and Rylan looked confused. Then Noah stared toward the building entrance, too focused, too still, his attention riveted on something. What happened? Rylan asked, but Noah just scanned the street, his eyes narrowing. I don't like that crowd, he said, his voice low and even, and Rylan followed his gaze. Photographers, fans, normal premiere attention, or at least, it looked normal. Then Noah opened his door. Stay close, he said, and something inside Rylan tightened, because suddenly, Noah didn't sound calm anymore, he sounded concerned, and that scared him a little. Rain fell harder. Flashes exploded from cameras, and reporters pushed closer, calling out, Rylan, this way, look over here. Noah moved beside him immediately, his movements protective, controlled. But the crowd felt different tonight, too aggressive, too crowded. Then, someone shoved forward violently, and Rylan stumbled. Everything happened fast, a hand reached toward him, too close, too sudden, and before Rylan understood, Noah pulled him sharply backward, one arm shielding him, the other pushing space between them. Rylan hit Noah's chest hard, and all he could hear was the rain, the noise, the shouting. Then, Noah's voice, low, and dangerously calm, get him back to the car. Rylan looked up, and for the first time, Noah looked genuinely alarmed. Then Rylan saw it, near the ground, beside his shoe, a folded note, rain soaking the paper. Noah saw it too, and suddenly, his expression changed, because written across the note, in dark ink, were 4 words, "I warned you already." And in that moment, Rylan felt a chill, a sense of foreboding. To be continued.